So you've got the tools, the tarot cards, the pendulums, the runes. Maybe you are a serial oracle card collector like me. But if you don't have a relationship with your tools, they are just pretty props. So in this video, I'm going to share with you what changed my relationship with my divination tools and how you can build a real deep connection with yours so that they don't just look magical, but they feel alive. Welcome, wild ones. I'm Emma Louise Dyson, Earth Medicine Woman and Shamanic Witch. And if you are new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you've been here a while, welcome, welcome, welcome. This channel is where I teach real embodied witchcraft. We talk about seasonal magic, stone and plant medicine, and how to live in harmony with the changing of the seasons and the wheel of the year. So if you're ready to bring your practice back to life, if you're ready to build a deeper relationship with your magic, then make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any upcoming videos, because I've got some absolute beauties planned for you. So let's get started on today's topic. Building a relationship with your divination tools. Now, the first question I guess we need to address is, why do some witches really struggle to connect with their divination tools? And I hear this a lot from followers, from clients. I bought this deck of cards, I bought this pendulum, and it doesn't seem to be working for me. So let's address this. There was a time when I used to pull cards and nothing. I would feel nothing. Beautiful artwork, beautiful words, but the messages were flat. You know, I'd get the book out and I'd read the book, and, you know, there's nothing wrong with that when you're starting out, of course, but it just felt flat. I remember thinking, like, what is wrong with me? Why can everybody else seem to like hear the messages from their decks and I just feel like I'm talking to cardboard? And the truth is, I hadn't built a relationship. So I was asking for wisdom from something that I had never even taken the time to know. So I slowed down. I started touching the cards without asking anything. I'd sit there, run my fingers along the edges, just be present with them. I'd look at them one at a time and just observe and just appreciate them. And over time, something changed. I started to get this pulse in my palms when I shuffled the deck. I started to have this connection. They started to feel familiar, connected, like an old friend. And once that connection wakes up, it never goes quiet again, because you are not just pulling cards, you are opening a dialogue with your divination tool. And that is when divination becomes accurate, because the energy exchange between you and your tool is clean, right? And it's real and it's been built. So I want you to think of it like this, like every tool, I've got a pendulum here, one of many. Every tool holds an echo of every person who's handled it. You know, they say you go to a crystal shop and you buy a crystal, you should get home and cleanse that crystal, because so many other people have touched it and there's been that energy exchange, right? So every tool holds an echo of every person who's handled it. So the more you bring your own energy into it, the more it tunes itself to you. So yes, work with it, hold it. I'm going to share some other ideas on how you can connect with it deeper in just a moment. But just going back to cleansing, that's why cleansing matters, because it's not just you're not just cleansing it with smoke and with sound, you are actually clearing space for your own frequency to then be imprinted within your divination tool. Does that make sense? And every time you work with it, that connection strengthens. You are training your nervous system to recognize its signal even, and that is what builds trust and what builds intuition when you are working with that tool. Does that make sense? So if you want to start building a better relationship, if you want your divination tools to start speaking back to you, here are 7 ways that will actually help with this process. So, number 1, sleep with your deck or your pendulum or your runes. Make sure they are nearby you for a few nights, not under your pillow, right? That's probably going to be uncomfortable with a lot of things, but close enough that it's in your energetic field, on your bedside table, your nightstand, under your bed. And what happens is your subconscious then connects with your tool while you dream. And I promise you will start to notice that your tool starts to feel familiar. Number 2, feed your tools. Feed your tools, just like you would feed an altar. A drop of wine, a sprinkle of herbs, a little smoke from incense, a little moon water, whatever that might be. These small offerings can really strengthen the bond and also keep the energy moving between you and your divination tool. Number 3, keep a divination diary. Every time you pull cards, every time you cast stones, write what you asked and write what came through. And then you can come back to it later and you'll start to see patterns. And these patterns then prove that your tools are actually responding accurately to you. And that in turn builds your confidence and builds your relationship even more. Number 4, ask open-ended questions. So instead of, will I get this job? You could ask something like, what energy should I bring to this interview? Now, this is great for working with cards. This isn't going to work if you're working with a pendulum. You definitely need a yes or no answer with a pendulum. But if you're working with cards, rather than saying, will I get this job? Try something like, what energy should I bring to this interview? Because what it does is it shifts you from this like passive waiting for an answer to this active co-creation. Your tools will mirror that energy back to you. Number 5, cleanse and connect, right? Cleanse and connect. And when you cleanse, you want to cleanse with connection, not with habit. What do I mean by this? Don't just waft some smoke over your deck because someone said to you, you must clean your deck. Ask your deck, what do you need? And just tune in and see what you feel, see what comes through. Trust your intuition. You might hear, see, know, sense that your deck might want some smoke, sometimes sound, sometimes dirt. Sometimes it might be like, I want to rest under your bed for a few days. Trust what comes up. And if nothing comes up, trust that as well. Number 6, let your body confirm the answer. This is really important, and I talk a lot about this in my divination course. But after a reading, don't push to interpret. Close your eyes and just notice. Just take a breath and just notice what you feel in your gut, what you feel in your chest. Is there tension? Is there warmth? Is there goosebumps? Is there lightness? Because this is your nervous system agreeing or disagreeing with the message. Yeah? And number 7, I don't think many people talk about this, but rotate your tools. Rotate them with the seasons. Certain decks or stones resonate differently as the year turns. So I have got, decks that I will use in the spring, decks that I like to use around Beltane are very different, or Bealtaine, very different to the decks that I use around Samhain or during the darker months and the winter months. So let them rest when they want to and work with the ones that feel alive right now. So those small things, they are small, but they can really shift everything, and they can really help you to turn your divination from something that you do into something that you actually live. And I love that. But also, because I'm a shamanic witch, my relationship with my divination tools doesn't just stop at the surface either, because every pendulum, every stone, every card in my practice has a living spirit, an intelligence of its own. And so I build relationship with them in the same way that I do with plants and with crystal allies, through shamanic journeying. So when I say journey with your tools, I don't mean like disappearing into some distant realm. I love that, but that's not what I mean. It can be really simple. Here's what you can do, and here's what I like to do. Play a drumming track. There are hundreds on YouTube, and lie down, maybe with an eye mask if it helps you to drop into trance, and just listen to the drums and allow yourself just to drop into trance with the beat of the drum. I will often take a single card, not a full spread, and then I will use this card kind of as a doorway. So before going into the journey, I look at the image, the colors, the symbols, and then I close my eyes and I let that landscape open up around me. So what does it feel like to stand inside the card? Who's there? What sound, what movement wants to speak? And the messages that you receive in this particular way are always deeper than the words that you will read on a page, maybe in the instruction book that comes with the cards. Does that make sense? So it might come as a feeling, it might come as a memory, it might come as a whisper of knowing, but it's all alive. And if you don't visualize, that's absolutely fine as well. I've said this many times, and I say this with my clients. Some of us will close our eyes and say, see an apple, and you can see an apple in front of your eyes. I don't see an apple in front of my eyes. I have to be really deep before I can really visualize like that. But we all know what an apple looks like with our eyes closed, right? There's a knowing there. If I asked you to bite into the apple, you would be able to taste that, maybe even salivate a little bit, right? So journeying doesn't have to be big visuals. It can be a sense of feeling or knowing or just trusting, yeah? And if you're new to journeying, start short. 5 minutes, slow breathing, maybe eyes half closed, holding your card or your pendulum in your hands, and just let your imagination just do what it naturally does and trust what rises. It is all part of the conversation. And for me, that's the heart of shamanic divination. It's entering the world that they live in and listening from there. So there we go, folks. If this work speaks to you, if you are ready to build that kind of relationship with your divination tools, I have created a full set of resources to help you go deeper. So there is a Divination Grimoire, which is a series of 5 ebooks all about divination and different practices. There is a Divination Portal, which is 4 guided journeys and meditations. So if you want to open up your psychic gifts, for example, there is a guided activation you can listen to for that. There is also shamanic journeys. There's a guided journey to connect with your divination tools. I've also created a divination mini course where I teach all of that in more depth. So I will drop the link below. You can have a look through those, or If you want to keep walking this path with me and learning moon by moon and season by season, come and join me inside the Wild 13. This is my monthly mystery school for witches and wild people who are done learning magic and they are ready to actually live it. And you get all of the grimoires, the portals, the activations, all of the different courses every single month, as well as grimoires and activations for each of the Sabbats. We also join together in circle every month as well for a ritual, and you've got a great community to connect with like-minded people. I will also link that below as well. In the meantime, let me know, do you feel inspired? Do you have a divination tool that you are loving working with at the moment? And are you going to try any of the practices that I've mentioned today? I would love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And until next time, stay cool, won't you? I'll see you in the next video.